Hello and welcome to the news update on Papyrus Global TV. I am Christiana Babayo. Before we begin, here are the headlines. Nigerian Senate confirms 64 career and non-career ambassadorial nominees. Rivers State Governor Fubara confirms 600 billion naira in treasury, pledges transparency. Federal government reopens 47 unity schools, reaffirms commitment to student safety. 4 PDP reps defect to APC as ruling party strengthens legislative footprint. Fresh storm brews over new tax law as government insists implementation will go ahead. Burkina Faso releases 11 detained Nigerian Air Force personnel after emergency landing dispute. Court rejects Malami's bail application, affirms lawful EFCC detention. And now the news in full. The Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria has confirmed 64 ambassadorial appointments, comprising both career and non-career diplomats in a major diplomatic clearance session aimed at filling key international postings ahead of the 2027 election cycle. The confirmation, which took place on 18 December 2025, reflects the legislature's role in executing constitutional checks on executive nominations for foreign service positions. The confirmed list includes seasoned foreign service officers, career diplomats who have risen through the ranks, as well as non-career appointees selected for their professional achievements, sector expertise, or strategic political considerations. Lawmakers emphasized that these appointments will be vital for protecting Nigeria's interests abroad and strengthening bilateral and multilateral ties with partner countries. During plenary, Senate leaders commended President Bola Tinubu for submitting the nominations in good time, noting the importance of having accredited envoys at key embassies and high commissions to advance foreign policy priorities, attract investment, and support Nigeria's diplomatic engagements on security, trade, climate change, and diaspora affairs. The confirmations covered missions across Africa, Europe, the Americas, and Asia, filling both established diplomatic posts and special representations to international organizations. Senators also highlighted the need for appointees to uphold Nigeria's values, foster economic diplomacy, and effectively communicate national policy objectives to host governments. Some lawmakers used the session to urge the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to widen opportunity for career diplomats, stressing that institutional knowledge and diplomatic experience are critical for navigating complex foreign policy landscapes. Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara has confirmed that he returned to office after a 6-month state of emergency to find approximately 600 billion naira in the state's treasury, dismissing accusations of financial mismanagement and vowing full accountability as his administration moves forward. Fubara, speaking on 17 December 2025 at the commissioning of the 14.2-kilometer Obodi-Ozochi Road linking Ahoda East and Ahoda West local government areas, explained that when he left office prior to the emergency rule, the state had over 300 billion naira in public funds. Upon his return, that figure has risen around 600 billion, a position he said was verifiable through official records. The governor emphasized fiscal discipline, prudent management, and proactive project execution as hallmarks of his tenure, promising that within 6 months his administration would provide clear and verifiable details on how public resources are being deployed across ongoing initiatives. He also attributed criticisms of his stewardship to political narratives rather than facts. Fubara's confirmation of state funds come amid sustained public interest in governance, especially after his suspension during the emergency rule and subsequent return to office. The federal government of Nigeria has reopened 47 unity schools across the country that were previously closed due to heightened security concerns, allowing students to resume academic activities and strengthen protective measures. Education authorities announced the resumption of classes on 18 December 2025, following months of closure triggered by a spate of violent incidents, including school kidnappings that had forced an earlier shutdown of unity schools nationwide. The Federal Ministry of Education stated that security architecture around the affected campuses has been enhanced in collaboration with relevant agencies to ensure student safety and continuity of learning. According to the ministry, students have safely returned and are either completing ongoing December academic programs or sitting examinations, with parents and guardians reassured that student welfare remains the top priority. The government emphasized that normalcy in school operations is key to protecting children's rights to education and supporting national human capital development. Four members of Nigeria's House of Representatives have defected from the People's Democratic Party to All Progressives Congress, further bolstering the ruling party's dominance in the federal legislature. The defections, confirmed in letters submitted and read on the floor of the House, underscore a continuing trend of political realignment ahead of the 2027 election cycle, a shift that critics warn could weaken opposition influence on Nigeria's political system. The lawmakers who switched allegiance cited internal crisis within the PDP and ideological alignment with the APC as key reasons for their decisions. Their moves reflect broader patterns seen throughout 2025, where several legislators have crossed party lines, including senators and other federal lawmakers, consolidating APC's numerical advantage in National Assembly. Political analysts say such defections may have significant implications for legislative oversight and balance of power, especially as the APC continues to pursue its agenda on key national issues. Opposition figures have expressed concern that sustained defections could erode effective checks on executive authority and diminish multi-party competition at the national level. We will now go on a short break, and when we come back, the news will continue. Stay tuned.
The Papyrus Global, we don't just cover events, we create cinematic experiences. From red carpets to birthdays, gala dinners, and your fairy tale weddings, we bring your moments to life with high-tech precision. Our gadgets are smarter, our lenses sharper, and our team simply world-class. Trust the Papyrus Global to tell your story in the boldest, brightest way possible.
Welcome back, and now the news will continue. Controversy has erupted over Nigeria's new tax reform laws, which the federal government insists will take effect on January 1st, 2026, despite mounting opposition and calls for suspension from civil society and political groups. The reforms, comprising four major pieces of legislation signed into law by President Bola Tinubu, are part of a broader effort to modernize the nation's tax system, widen the revenue base, and harmonize tax administration across federal, state, and local governments. The presidency has rejected demands to halt the implementation, with the president's special advisor on information and strategy emphasizing that the laws are unstoppable and already endorsed by the National Assembly and the president. Government officials maintain that the reforms will simplify compliance and exclude low-income workers from direct tax liabilities. However, opposition groups such as the National Opposition Movement (NOM) argue that the reforms are punitive and poorly timed, warning that they could worsen the living conditions of ordinary Nigerians already grappling with inflation, high costs of high, high living costs, and unemployment. NOM has called for nationwide consultations involving labor unions, civil society, and small business owners before the laws take effect. Adding to the controversy, a block of lawmakers in the House of Representatives has raised concerns that the gazetted versions of the tax laws differ from the copies originally passed by the National Assembly, alleging that substantive changes may have been introduced post-passage without legislative approval. Burkina Faso has freed 11 personnel of the Nigeria Air Force (NAF) who were detained on 8 December 2025 after their military aircraft made an emergency landing in the country. Nigeria's Foreign Affairs Minister Yusuf Tuga has confirmed. The releases mark the resolution of a diplomatic impasse that has strained relations between the two West African neighbors. The detained group included 2 flight crew members and 9 passengers aboard of C-130 transport aircraft that diverted to Burkina Faso's Bobo Dioulasso airfield while en route to Portugal for scheduled maintenance, citing technical difficulties. A high-level Nigerian delegation led by Minister Tuga held talks in Ouagadougou with Burkina Faso's transitional leader, Captain Ibrahim Traoré. Following sustained dialogue, the Burkina authorities agreed to release the Air Force crew, and allow them to return to Nigeria. In a joint statement, Nigeria and Burkina Faso also agreed to regular consultations and enhanced bilateral cooperation, signaling a shared interest in strengthening ties and regional stability. The aircraft and its crew are expected to resume their planned mission to Portugal as scheduled. The Federal Capital Territory High Court in Abuja has dismissed the bail application of Abubakar Malami, former Attorney General of the Federation and Justice Minister, affirming that his continued detention by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission is lawful and backed by a valid court order. Malami, who has been in EFCC custody since 8 December 2025 in connection with a wide-ranging corruption investigation, sought bail on the grounds that his detention was unconstitutional and unlawful. His legal team argued that the ongoing probe and circumstances of his confinement violated his fundamental rights. However, Justice Babangida Hassan ruled that the EFCC's detention of Malami is supported by a valid remand order issued by a separate FCT High Court, referencing provisions of Section 35 of the Nigerian Constitution and the Administration of Criminal Justice. The judge held that granting bail would amount to improperly second-guessing a court order from a coordinate jurisdiction. The EFCC had obtained the remand order to facilitate its ongoing investigations, which reportedly involved allegations of money laundering, abuse of office and other financial offences linked with Malami's tenure as AGF. With the bail bid rejected, Malami remains in EFCC custody as the anti-graft agency continues its investigation into the allegations, which has drawn attention from legal and political commentators across the country. And that's all we have on the news update on Papyrus Global TV. I am Christiana Babayo. Thanks for joining us.